Agenda is minutes of January 24th. Motion from the Planning Commission, please.
I make a motion to approve.
Is there a second? Seconding? Use your mic. Oh, any discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Okay, we'll move on. First, discussion with Town Board and Planning Commission, possible action by the Planning Commission of a conditional use concept presentation. The owner is Mark Resch. The applicant is Boomers Gulf. Location is West 271, South 4348, Saylesville Road. Tax key WIKT 1372-999. This will be a recommendation to the Town Board. Planner Dupler, are you taking this?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, if you'd use your microphone, please.
Okay. Mr. Resch is here with this evening to ask for your consideration on a preliminary basis for a conditional use. He has proposed a recreational use for his 22-acre property on Saylesville Road. As a conditional use, it will require a public hearing. I've asked him to come and make a preliminary presentation this evening so as to garner from both Planning Commission and Town Board your opinions, and request that if you have any information you would like him to provide in preparation for that public hearing, that you share that with us this evening. Just to set the stage here, the property is zoned A1. It's got a little portion of C1 along one of the boundaries, but there are no restrictions in regards to floodplain, wetlands, environmental corridor that would have any impact on the proposed development. It has neighbors zoning immediately to the west of A1 also. Across Saylesville Road is R1. The other surrounding properties to the east and to the southeast are residential properties developed in the city of Waukesha. I have, under consideration here, identified for you, if you'd like your fingers to do the walking through the ordinance, 13.3-4 allows for conditional uses in the A1 district. Qualifies as an A1 district, and therefore a conditional use may be considered. 13.3.4.2 identifies the recreational facilities are allowable conditional uses in the A1. And 13.2.9D just forewarns the Planning Commission and the town the basis of approval requires that the Planning Commission consider the potential impacts to surrounding uses and preservation of property values as part of your consideration. Now, with the knowledge that we have developed homes around the perimeter of this driving range, Mr. Resch has taken, I think, due diligence in design and consideration for his operation. He has the proposed layout that you see here on the screen, but he also has a couple other comparable layouts that are overlaid on this to demonstrate how well this conforms to the industry standard. He has examples of other projects, other driving ranges in the area. And in addition to that, I provided to him a PGA diagram that allows a person to project the anticipated flight pattern, deviation from side to side, and height of golf balls that's used for laying out golf courses. Mr. Resch is here to ask for your consideration and to justify the operation, that it is not unreasonable, does not create an unreasonable impact for the neighbors. But if you like, he is willing to give you additional information in regards to a containment fence where the most tension spot arises next to the existing home sites. I have a comment in here that the town engineer might want to weigh in on deceleration, acceleration lanes, and Chris has taken a look at it and thinks that the county will definitely require such. And as part of Mr. Resch's concept plan, he also is proposing a clubhouse that satisfies setback requirements, actually functions as a small commercial entity that would be considered as part of this conditional use. The conditional use, just as a reminder, should incorporate all potential uses on the site. If he wants to sell watermelons in the parking lot, it needs to be put in the conditional use. There is currently a residence that Mr. Resch uses in the extreme south portion of the property, and we'll have him point that out as well. But you can expect that that building, if it stays a residence, should be part of that conditional use, or if it is used for storage of equipment, vehicles and such, again, that should be part of the conditional use. So, Mark.
Good evening, everyone. Just want to say a little bit here about my proposal. What I'm proposing to the town tonight is a chance to have more recreation in the form of a golf practice facility for the people of this and our surrounding areas. Besides the positive interaction that this venture would bring between the people of the community, it would also provide open and green space to an area of growing city urbanization. Not that all urbanization is bad. In fact, I believe that the higher densities of the city, which allows more people to use less land to live on, saves farms from being developed and allows open space to be utilized for recreation for people who already live in the surrounding communities. That's why I've not given up on this idea since the first time that I brought it forth to the town for approval in 1998. That's why I bring it back in front of you tonight to hopefully start the approval process once again for a use of the land that would benefit many, and as I see it, hurt no one. So, we need to, any questions on the site layout? It's hard to see, I should have brought.
Put the other one up there. That one will be
That's a
easier to
little
see.
brighter. Basically, this is what Roger was saying about the ball trajectory, the flight pattern, that you can't see the actual diagram that's put up by Titleist Ball Company. It shows the slices and fades to the right and the hooks to the left of the target greens. So as you can see, according to, and I gave it some leeway as far as expanding a little bit because the chart is for professional golfers. But it does fall within the boundaries of the property line. So if we go to, yeah, let's go to Moreland Golf Center. This is hard to see, but this is the property, again, the site. And that right there is the overlay to the same scale as Moreland Golf Center, down by the Ridge Theater on Moreland Avenue, south of Highway 43. And its entire usable landing ball area falls within the perimeter of my property. So they don't have a problem, nor do I believe that I would also. Next one I want to show you is National Golf Center, the one on ES, National Avenue, just a little bit west of 164. There again, it falls into the complete containment of my land also. Actually, it has room to spare. So.
Mark, is this the actual configuration of the
site, right?
Okay. And down here,
The top port would actually be the top right-hand corner that's cut off. That's actually National Avenue for them. And my property line is actually, would be Highway 43 that they're contending with. And I'm well within the boundaries of that. So, I think that was all I have.
What were the objections, Mr. Resch? You said you had been here before. What types of issues did you have, and how have you resolved?
Well, actually, I was
some of
awarded, I was given a conditional use permit in 2005, but I did not agree with all the conditions to it, so it was basically turned down by the town. So I continued on it, and just kind of mainly brought it up to how I'd like it to look and how it's going to present itself to the town. And I'm back to hopefully get it on its way.
Now, you actually have from these pictures some existing concrete pads installed. Correct. Were those part of the initial conditional use that you had in 2005, or have these been installed since then?
No, those have been installed since then, right.
Okay, so
Sure.
you've been...
And planted it all and took it out of crops, 2 years ago and put it in the grass. And just kind of been burning along, so to speak. So.
Did the neighbors have objections
No.
those times that you
I'll
were
give it
through?
a thumbs up. Mainly the ones from the city that border it, that really bump up to it.
Okay.
They like it.
Okay, so but you chose not to go forward in 2005, this
Well, the session had a lot to do with,
Okay,
I guess, so.
okay, so there must be an approved CU that's out there that simply was never effective, is that what you're talking about?
There may very well be, unfortunately. I don't have the luxury of history to know the full story here. But even if there were an existing CU, if it sits more than 24 months, it is null and void. I would suggest that as the Planning Commission and Board continue to deliberate this, that we get a copy of that conditional use and bring it forward so as maybe to refresh those minds that have been here that long.
I
also identify some of those items.
I have a copy here, if you'd like to present it.
Yeah, well,
Okay.
we haven't had the benefit to everybody, but we'll get questions and then we'll certainly get that out for them to go around. And there were some people that were here for that, so thank you, Jamie. So what questions do we have?
Well, I have two.
Could you use your microphone, please?
Driving ranges have three problems: parking, lighting, at the two biggies. How do you address the parking? How many cars could you park?
I have spaces for 69 spaces. And as far as the D-cell and A-cell lane, that entrance is already in. A county, it was put in 2005 per county code. Plan was passed, and it is actually in. So.
What's the longest tee shot there? I see your green and your fairway.
To that green, the long center fairway, that's 250 yards.
Okay, to the green.
The farthest,
What is it to the property line, behind the green in the middle?
this right here, this is 300 yards,
Okay.
and it still falls within the ball, within the property lines. Back to the corner of the land, it's about 410 yards. That consultation report that was put out, that you have a copy of, it's called the First Links. I applied, there's a program being put on by the PGA and the American Society of Golf Course Architects to promote existing facilities and ones, too big, about rearranging it and conforming it so it'd be an easier use for kids and older adults returning to the game. So I kind of applied and was awarded a visit by an architect of my choosing, and he came out last September and went over the entire project and gave his opinion on the benefit to the community and actually how it would actually play out. And all his comments are in that report. This is just, this is a little bit of his background, his bio. You're interested in looking at?
What kind of screening?
You mean,
Screening in where you're abutting the residential property?
well, that's the thing. He comments in there, I mean, this is a golf course architect, that there could possibly be stray balls, okay, but to not really address that fact until it's closer to being open. Because there's no sense putting a 20-foot net with nobody to look at it that's not going to like it if it's not going to work. So that was his view.
Is that what you were talking about on screening, or were you talking
Well,
about
yes, there's
vegetation
some
screening?
kind of vegetation that would screen the view too.
Oh, you mean, okay, well, there's trees right there right now, and I've been working on it over the years. There is greenery there, and there will be more. There will be more, so.
I don't think you addressed Mr. Flanagan's question on lighting. I think he
Lighting,
also
there
asked
will
you
be
about
no
lighting.
lighting as far as going down. It's gonna be from Cancy to Cancy, just like it would be on a normal golf course. The only lighting I'm proposing is, because this is gonna be more split, not just a golf driving range, but a teaching facility for kids. And the area that I have, it's down in the lower right-hand corner, that area right there would be utilized as just lighting for putting greens, chipping greens, sand bunkers. So it'd be really contained in a corner where there is not anyone to disturb.
So you don't plan to light the rest of them?
No. That's the only lighting.
How are you going to be having concessions, food, drink?
Plan on it down, I mean, this is a build-out model of the entire thing. I mean, for starters, it's just gonna be a sales buildings, selling golf balls to go out and start bringing some revenue in, you know. It's gonna be at least 3 years before a complete build-out would actually be established.
Other questions? Yes, Mr. Gilmore.
Can you go over the things that you objected to in the previous conditional use permit that persuaded you not to
Well, at the
go
time,
ahead?
I had a permit to bring in fill from the county permit to bring in fill on my property. And I agreed to, there was a list of many, conditions, but that was the one that the town required that I cease and desist bringing any more fill into the property until all of my conditions were met, and I could not do that.
Have you continued to bring in fill?
Since then, it has been completed in 2008. But 2006 was the last time I brought any fill in there.
So you continue to bring in fill after the conditional use permit?
I never had a conditional use permit.
Didn't you say that you?
They were issued,
received one
I
in-
was issued, but because I did not agree to that condition, it did not go forward.
Okay. After the conditional use permit was issued, you continued to bring in fill?
Sure.
And where did you place that fill?
Well,
Could you point out, could you walk over there and point out where? I'm asking you these questions because I have no knowledge of what
Basically,
happened.
this entire front has been terraced, recontoured, shaped with many yards of fill.
Approximately how many cubic yards or truckload did you bring in?
I'd say 200,000 yards of fill.
Did you ever apply,
Or certainly DNR.
did you ever apply with the town for any kind of a fill permit?
No, you have to go through the county. The town uses the county for their stormwater and erosion control permit process, and also the DNR.
And did you apply with the
Was
county?
certainly the,
And you got the appropriate permits?
certainly the,
And the elevation on this site, what is the topography of the site? If you could just describe that for us. In other words, I presume where
Well,
your
there's
tee box
berms.
is
There are
it higher?
berms.
Are you gonna be going into a lower area or to a higher area, typical golfer?
well, this entire here is, all along here, there are berms to conceal from the road and from across the street. Berms over here, berms down to here. This entire area right here is one level terrace. That is the area where they tee off of, down into the lower. So from the tee area, tee boxes down to the landing area, it has a 1.5% slope, which from here to there means it drops maybe about 15 feet, 15 to 18 feet. It all has a positive flow down to the corner of the land.
You indicated that you had concerns about the town not wanting you to bring in any more fill.
Well, that was one of the conditions.
Why did the town at that time not want you
You'd
to
have
bring
to
in?
ask them that.
Okay, what were the other restrictions that you took issue with?
That was it.
That was the only one?
Right.
Okay, thank you.
Have you been in touch with with the county on some of the issues related to the bill?
I have been in touch with the county to learn that Mr. Resch has satisfied all of their requirements to date. They had issues with erosion control that stretched on for a while, but all those issues have been resolved.
Further questions? It's here on a conceptual so that you can provide feedback to the petitioner as he goes through this process or doesn't go through this process, depending upon your feedback this evening. So, some of you were here at the time. Would you like to speak?
I just got a couple questions for you, Mark. The clubhouse, how soon are you going to put a clubhouse in? Plan on putting that in first year, second year? Or just,
Not the one, not that would do the final, there'd be more of a temporary one to, you know, just start the ball rolling, so to speak. So the permanent one, I would say 2 years.
So this temporary one, where did that temporary one be? We're on this property here.
Basically the same area, but just lower scale.
Then the last one I got, you got one driveway, looks like to the west of your property, and it looks like it's mainly for personnel property, for employees or whatever.
Right.
Are you planning on using that driveway then at that time?
Possibly, possibly not. I'm in the process of acquiring the one to the south that's closer through Rivers Crossing subdivision, which is closer to the building at the lower end of the property.
Thank you.
Other questions, comments for the petitioner?
So you had indicated that there would be no lighting
Correct.
ever?
Ever. Except for the teaching area.
At the top?
Right.
And in the area of the property to the, must be east, is residential?
Right there
Is
is
that
no.
east?
It is residential in the east.
And so I don't see any landscaping or fences in court. Am I correct?
Mark, would you mind just clicking on the bar at the bottom there and bring up one of the overlays that shows either national or
Space bar.
Moreland?
Mark, hit the space bar.
Hit the what?
Space bar.
That's not it.
Petitioners aren't required to run it. But thanks for being
Those are the
Right there.
Okay, this
Okay,
one.
there you can see, if you can see, the residential portion is, I would say, midway down from the top.
Why don't you go up, Roger? Nobody can see where you're pointing.
Well, I could see where I was pointing.
I know you can see, but we'd all like to see.
The actual residential lotting starts right about here. Where Mark is talking about his training area would be here. This property is zoned residential. What is your neighbor here to the east?
Well, that's zoned temporary. It's the corner that has business, it's B5. And this other area here is what is being contested right now. This is where Belinsky wanted to put their multifamily, which it's in the city right now being rezoned to 2-family. And this is basically the only single-family residential right here.
So the possibility of home sites being right up here next to the education center, or that portion of the practice facility is not hardly likely.
Does that answer your question? Or,
Sure.
well, what else would you like to know? Just pretend to ask.
I guess I'm just worried about any noise that may come from this. You're talking practice facilities. I don't know, are people going to be complaining about balls being hit and things like that?
Well,
And
the whole-
with screening or landscaping in those areas, that would knock down that type of noise.
Sure. Well, in that site plan you have there is a bunch of trees. And a landscape plan would be, is part of the conditional use, so.
Would have to be.
Right. I mean, the plan is to have it feel like you're on an actual golf course. And that's just gonna keep bringing people back and have the human experience of being on it, so.
Well, it's time for commissioners and board members to really provide their feedback as to any concerns, any things that you want the petitioner to understand before he goes through any further time and expense. If there are strong objections to any aspect of what he's proposing, it would be appropriate at this time to voice those concerns and any particular enhancements that you feel would be necessary. The conceptual review is all about. So, others?
I guess I'm just curious as to what's the nearest one similar to this? Is it the National?
Yes.
Okay, what about to the west? Anything?
There used to be up by Generac, but they had since bought him out, and they're going to expand their business on that property. Now, there isn't a lot of competition around.
That's kind of my question.
Well, there is one okay on where Woodman's, across from Woodman's.
Oh,
But
yeah.
that's more in a commercial area, it's not, no, so.
Mr. Rupos, did you have questions?
The one concern that I have is that the drive that does go down to the existing building, if he doesn't, there needs to be an improved driveway down. The two-lane path that's shown on the photo is not going to be adequate. If he does acquire that south entry, that would be his benefit because it shortens up the distance dramatically, makes access much easier. But if he doesn't get that south entrance, and he needs to improve that driveway for access, especially with the building of that size.
Other questions?
Yes.
I would just like to make it clear to the presenter that any feedback that you are receiving tonight does not in any way commit the town to approve anything, even if you, in reliance on encouraging comments as you have heard, expend money, acquire more land, and make a greater investment. Thank you.
Anything further that you'd like to add?
No, I just have, at the end of my report, a short list of materials that I would suggest that Mr. Rush provide for your review and provide them to the clerk prior to publication for public hearing. And that would be a draft conditional use permit. You could probably take the one that you already have and Xerox it. A proposed business plan of operation, which would answer many of the questions that you've heard here this evening. And I want to take another look at the diagram of the golf ball flight, just to be able to answer specific questions about a containment fence. Aside from that, Mr. Janelli suggests that this would have to be done in conformance with erosion, not only erosion control, but stormwater management requirements, and depending on the amount of hardscape would determine if you need a small infiltration basin. Other than that, a general landscaping plan would, I think, answer many questions in regards to screening and beautification. And it's up to the Planning Commission at this time. Do you want to see some architecture on this building, or would you like him to come back at the appropriate time to show you potential architecture?
That's where the money starts coming involved. Without knowing that I'm gonna get a conditional use, I'm not gonna be,
I would suggest you could come up with some photographic examples of what the building should look like.
Sure.
Did you have something else?
It said in the materials that there was some drainage already put in and some tiling or culverts or
The
something.
whole land is tiled since 1919 when they used to farm it.
Is that what it was referring to? You show some picture of a structure in here, a drainage structure.
Sure.
I guess what I'm getting to is I think our engineer has to have some way to verify that that's appropriate and meets the needs of the site and so forth. There's a way to document that, and I think the engineers need to be involved in that a little bit.
I think we would review a grading plan or whatever plans get submitted to the town at that time.
And the county, I would imagine, has information related to what's been done on that site for the last several years, almost 10 years, right?
Correct.
So we should be able to review that as well. Is that what you're getting to? Okay. Other questions?
I have one other
Oh,
suggestion. I was involved with the development of the Bristlecone Golf Course as the village attorney, and one of the things that was recommended to the village, particularly because of the adjacent residential development, was to hire some professional golf course architects. Because in this particular situation, while the presenter has indicated that the flight lines are typical for professional golfers typically do not use these kinds of facilities. People like wannabes like myself do, and I know what Aaron Falls can do. And it is also a very delicate issue with regards to drainage, as has been alluded, because of the large amount of space involved. The gentleman has indicated he's got 22 acres. He's planting trees, has planted trees. The recovery of the balls could be an issue. You have had prior experience with recreational facilities in the town, and I think that that would be something that you may want to get outside assistance on.
That site plan that is in front of you, it was drawn by the golf course architect. I mean, he came out to the site, and what he came up with works for the site. And that's what's in his report.
What we're indicating is that we'll want verification of some of those things on a fiduciary basis to the town.
Okay.
Be sure that everything is verified so we can make recommendations, so we can accept those recommendations.
Perhaps a third party to help me with the review.
Okay, other questions? Other comments?
Just one. It sounds to me, Mark, like if you were just take Hector out there and let him get the ball, we could determine just how that shot's going to be.
Too early in the season.
Maybe it's perfect, right? The Aaron's balls are usually worse than the spring, so, all right. Good. Well, we'll move on. Thank you.